I love it,
Chantel
loving
and
it.
Ruben and Cole.
I love your hat.
Yeah, the hat.
Love it. Looks fantastic.
God,
Oh, I can't get left out of this.
I can hardly keep.
Nice one.
Kevin, you look totally irresistible. You didn't hear it. My
I heard
internet.
it. I look like a mushroom. Is that what you said?
Irresistible.
Yeah.
Now you say it.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it.
Yeah, because Tonka, it went really slow. I'm not sure if it was for everyone, but you literally went like,
It
you
was
are
here too.
irresistible.
It's slowing me down. It's helping me. Cole is happy. Cole is delighted. I like my internet.
Wonderful. That's a good idea to start again, that chapter 4.
I'm so sorry, Cole. I still can't get enough of your voice.
Anyway, I'm better already today, but yesterday I was like, ugh. I was applying my lesson all day. That was intense. All right, dear ones, shall we, 13 of us right now, so let's begin. It's a good sign. Anyone would like to begin?
Yeah, I'll just got to adjust my arm. Chapter 4, the center of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
By asking you to request a miracle, I am honoring who you are and inviting you into the state of mind that is miracle-mindedness, miracle readiness. The art of thought is the expression of that state.
Wow.
The art of thought is the miracle.
Mm.
Thus, we must dispel, along with the illusion of fear, the illusion of specificity. Yep.
Specificity, yeah.
Yep. You have not been asked to request a specific miracle. Although your thoughts have naturally gone to consideration of the specific, this is but an indication that you are still in the habit of thinking you learned under the instruction of the ego mind.
Wow. That's so good, isn't it? Can you read that again? That's like that just shows something. Because how many guys of you were thinking of a specific miracle, right? Like it was almost like a little trap, you know? Like have a look how you do that. And that's not how it works. So he did it so beautifully, huh?
Sorry, what number are you on?
Chapter 4, honey,
Back to
we're starting
the
again.
chapters.
We're starting again chapter 4 in the second book, The Center of the Universe.
Oh, at 4:1. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
All right, darling.
Up to
It's
4:2
4:2.
now, and I'm doing the second sentence. Although your thoughts have naturally gone to consideration of the specific, this is but an indication that you are still in the habit of thinking you learned under the instruction of the ego mind.
Yeah, that's profound.
Yeah.
Mm. This treatise must change that habit in order for all your thoughts to become the miracles that express the truth of who you are. This treatise will put your instruction fully under my guidance and allow you to disregard the instruction of the ego mind.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
A course of love began with an injunction to pray. A Course in Miracles began with a definition of miracles. Both are the same. Prayer and the art of thought are the same. This should serve to make it clear that the request I have made of you is once again far more broad and generalizable than your old habit of thought has led you to see. Miracles are, in other words, a way of thinking, a new way that we are going to learn together. They are the state of giving and receiving as one. They are the state in which blessings flow. They are your natural state. Dennis, you're first on my screen. Would you like to read today?
Oh, sure. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. How can the rules of thought we have identified serve to bring about the miracle that you are? The first means identified was that of experiencing what is and acknowledging what is both as a fact of your existence as a human being and as a gift of the Creator. I'm going to read that sentence again. The first means identified was that of experiencing what is and acknowledging what is both as a fact of your existence as a human being and as a gift of the Creator. Now that we have more properly identified the miracle, you must see that yourself is what is in need of identification and acknowledgement. This identification and acknowledgement was the stated goal of A Course of Love. It does not negate your existence as a human being, nor does it deny your existence as being a gift of the Creator. Recall the sunset. Are you any less the glory of God than the sun? Are you any less the glory of God than the sun? This is a call to be as aware of yourself as you are capable of being aware of the sunset. When the sun has remained but an object to you, no effect is possible from the sunset. The sun, even during the most blazing sunset, has at times remained no more than an object to you. So too has yourself. When yourself is seen as no more than a body, it is seen as little more than an object.
Mm-hmm.
The second rule of the art of thought is to acknowledge relationship, relationship, the call for a response, and the nature of all gifts as being given to all. This is thus a call to realize that you exist in relationship, that your relationships calls for a response, and that you are given to all as all are given to you. This is thus a call to realize that you exist in relationship, that your relationship calls for a response, and that you are given to all as all are given to you.
Mhm.
This is an enormous shift in your habit of thought as you become center of the universe.
Mhm.
This is quite a different you than the self of the ego mind. The ego mind, in its imitation of creation, put the you in quotation marks of the ego or the body at the center of its thought system. And from this central position, developed all of its of glorifying the separated self, as well as of subjugating separated self. This subjugation to the ego mind is what led to the ego mind being able to develop the laws of man. Dun, 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 dun. These laws of man are the laws of the body's survival.
Yep.
Your responsibilities shift completely under the laws of God. Your thoughts are released from their concentration on what exists outside of you, as your responsibility is placed where it belongs, in the call to respond. This response is only yours to give and is all you're asked to give.
Mhm.
This response comes from within the self, the rightly identified and acknowledged self.
Yeah.
Think of all you now feel responsible for, and this lesson will become more clear, while your first thoughts will automatically go to a lengthy list of those concerns associated with the survival of the body. They will miss a whole aspect of concerns associated with keeping others other. You keep others other by attempting to respond for them rather than responding to them. You thus have thought it is your responsibility to care for the world outside of yourself rather than for yourself.
Beautiful. Wow. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, that other. Anybody want to carry on, please?
You know, this is that thing when, sometimes we do this thing like, what's your sound instead of what you have to say? Like, how are you? Just make a sound. That's more like a true response because you don't really engage your mind. You just go like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is how I
Mm-hmm.
feel. So that's
Mm-hmm.
really the art of true response. When we become closer to, rather than giving a trained response, we give a more real response. Like, how are you really?
Mm-hmm.
When we say, how are you really? You go somewhere else than just an artificial kind of like, oh, I'm all right, or I'm good. If I ask her like, how are you really? You go deeper. And from that place is that true response. And that's what we're looking for. We're actually looking for realness
Mm-hmm.
of the response. Okay, so somebody else would like to take on? Thanks, Dennis.
Well, thank you. Thank you for explaining that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll read.
thank you.
There is much play on the words response, responsible, and responsibility here. This is no accident. Your call is to respond, and you have seen this call incorrectly as a call to be responsible. The idea of responsibility sprang from the ego mind that would usurp the power of God.
Mm.
What kind of gift arrives with a demand for the receiver to be responsible for it? A puppy.
Called COD.
Yeah.
You may answer that there are many, even within this course's definition of gift, the most obvious of which might be your children, another of which might be your talents. Ooh. It is the idea of your responsibility for these gifts that has led to your oppression.
No.
Again, I tell you, your call is to respond rather than to be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
How can you be free to respond
Mm-hmm.
when your thinking remains tied to responsibility? Oh,
Beautiful, huh?
Mm-hmm.
ugh.
Oh.
I'm just thinking about me and my art. Like I just felt it as a burden instead of,
Mm-hmm.
and yet I know I'm called to do it. And lately I've become involved in this process, and that's actually what's happening is I'm responding.
Yep.
And it's just opening up something completely new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Responsibility.
Let me just say something, guys. This is important. So I used, I play guitar and I used to perform and I loved it. I loved doing it. But then it became job. Then it became routine. Then I had to go to work. I had a
Mm,
great job, but I still had to go to work. Yeah. And then next minute I was playing because I had to play, because it was the living. And I could feel how it was just killing in me that artistry of it, that true response, playing music with being in it and really sharing. Suddenly it became like, God, I gotta play for 3 hours. Yeah. So that's what kills it. Like, oh God, I gotta sell my art. God, I've gotta finish this because this is gonna get to go to the exhibition or something, And it becomes all this, like the art becomes a routine. Art becomes another I must do rather than just creation.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's a trap. It's an ego thing that just takes you back into being trapped instead of being gifted. You've been gifted with something
Bingo.
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And all that's being asked is to express it, to respond. Oh, responsibility, but implies a guardianship that is not needed.
Mm-hmm.
Responsibility implies needs that would not be met without you. Response is given and thus genuine. It is a natural act of giving and receiving as one. Responsibility is a demanded response, a necessary response, an obligation. Response happens from within. Responsibility is all about dealing with an outside world. While both may result in the same or similar actions, this does not negate the need for the difference to be realized. Charity is a responsibility. Love is a response. See you not the difference?
Mhm.
Can a father not be guided by responsibility and still fail to give love? Can a dancer not struggle mightily to perfect her talent without experiencing its joy? Do you think the Creator is responsible for what was created? To think of the Creator in this way is to think of the Creator with the upside down thinking of the ego mind. Is this not the kind of thinking that has caused you to blame God for what you have labeled bad, as well as to praise God for what you have labeled good? Would not this kind of a creator be at odds with the concept of free will? But for a creator not to respond to what has been created, this would indeed be a travesty. This would be antithetical to the laws of creation. This would be antithetical to love. My request to you to choose a miracle is but a request to you to hear creation's response to who you are. What might such a response sound like, feel like, look like? It is a response of pure appreciation and love. It is always available. It is the gift given in everything you look upon and see without the obstacle of the ego mind's interpretation.
Freedom, freedom, freedom.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Hmm.
So can I ask you a question?
You must.
Yeah.
Um, So when we sing at senior centers and nursing homes and such, I mean, um, I may not be the best singer, but I really love it. I love singing.
Mm.
So does that mean that the response is just I can't put it into words. I mean,
Mm. No need
I
to put
just
it in the word.
love to be there, and yet I'm not really being something by being there.
That's it. You love doing it, and that's why you do it. You come, you give. You basically give of yourself, give of your talent. Especially when you go and give and don't wait for some kind of reward. Just simply give for the sake of giving, which is the fulfillment. Like when we do what we are given to do, because everybody has a talent. That's why we all
Yeah,
equal.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
all the same. We all have different talents. Yeah. And it's like the purpose in life is to find a talent, and then a mission in life is to give it. Or the other way around. Yeah. Yeah. So you find what's real for you, what's really true, what you love. When you completely lose yourself when you do it. Like you
Yeah,
don't think about it. It just happens. It comes out of you.
yeah,
That's just, but we were taught, you must do this and you must do that and you must do this. And then we fall into these traps of like, rather than being the artistic expression of your love, it becomes a routine. Yeah. It just keeps getting denser and denser, like density, yeah, rather than a flow. The dance becomes dense, no movement.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
And it can be
mm,
anything. You could be even working in the office, but just the way you do stuff, it's just artistic.
mhm,
It's
mhm.
given. It's like, oh God, I love doing this.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Like I worked 12 years in the Steiner School, and I worked like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then on Tuesday, it was like, oh, it's Tuesday. I'm off to work. You know what? It was like, it never felt like I had to. You know what I mean? It was like an excitement. It's like, oh,
Uh-huh, mhm.
gonna play music with kids. You
What a
see,
gift. Yeah.
it's a gift until it's done, until it becomes a chore. And it becomes a chore, it's probably a new inspiration coming to you, which needs expression, and you might not have it yet. It's why people get depressed. They sometimes do a mission and they finish it. And then if they don't get the new mission, they get depressed because something's birthing in them and they're not given it. And sometimes you need to go into solitude and space to find out what that new mission is. Yeah.
Mhm,
Because you use it up. You use it up. But there is a new one being born, and you got to find out what that is. And that's the beauty of it. Like, what's my new mission?
mhm, mhm.
Particularly if you begin to feel stale in your life. You feel stale. You feel like, oh my God, I'm just
Wow.
routines. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. So you go to God. It's like, hey, God, what's my next gig? Hello. Talk to me.
Mhm,
You're really not
mhm,
talking to anyone except your own being that's trying to express itself. I mean, it's your being that created you. That's the God that created you, right? It's your own being. It's already perfect. We're
mhm,
just trying to get to that being and give it in a full expression of that gift that it is.
mhm, mhm,
It's kind of gorgeous. Ah,
mhm.
yeah. I used to do like a 10-day sit called Vipassana when I'd done so many of them. And what happened in there was that after day 6 or 7 or 8, suddenly it would hit me what my next mission is. And it almost happened every single time I did it. Not that I did it for that purpose. But then suddenly there was this like, oh, now do this. And I just couldn't wait to get out of there to give that expression an expression.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you're a bit lost, it's good to, as particularly for men, go into silence. No distractions, and then find out what's my heart. What is my next heart calling?
Mm-hmm.
And it will speak to you. It will actually speak to you and say, and it'll be a simple thing. It's not going to be this grand thing sometimes. Sometimes we feel like, where is the grand thing I'm going to need to be doing, my mission for God? No, it's just a little simple thing that's just going to make you so happy. You're not going to be able to bear it, you know? Yeah. Don't get me started. All right, let's go on. Who's next?
I can read
Yeah, thanks.
417.
Beautiful.
Let us take a moment of this interpretation. That each of you interprets what you see, read, hear, smell, and touch differently must mean something. What you have decided that this means is that you are an independent thinker, something you have prized. Some of you will accept another's interpretation of meaning if it is helpful to you, saves you time, or seems in accord with your own views. Others of you feel it necessary to interpret everything on your own. Without further discussion, you will see interpretation and respond quite similarly, and this will but lead to a continuation of the belief in different forms of the truth. The art of thought is being taught here in order to prevent just such a conclusion. The truth is the truth and not dependent upon your definition of it. A response is not an interpretation. A response is an expression of who you are rather than of what you believe something else to be.
Wow.
You who have thought that your interpretation of events and feelings has given them their meaning, think again.
Yeah.
Their meaning exists already and is not up to you to determine. This is not your responsibility. You who have thought that your interpretation of situations and the feelings they have aroused have defined who you are. Think again. Be willing to apply the art of thought rather than the thinking of the ego mind. Interpretation but gives you opinions about those things that you experience. Response reveals the truth to you because it reveals the truth of you.
Wow.
Mhm.
The joy you have thought has come to you from an interpretation that is uniquely your own and is as nothing compared to the joy that will come to you from a response that is uniquely you. But you must give up your penchant for interpretation before you can learn to respond. I realize that this will concern you while you continue to not realize the difference between response and interpretation. The only way for this concern to have the chance to leave you is for you to begin to practice the art of thought, right, and thus begin to learn the difference. I'm complete. Thank you.
Wow, good stuff.
Amazing, hey? It's from childhood we were taught to explain ourselves, right? How are you? Oh, let's explain. Rather than feel, be the experience and ooze the experience as a response. Actually, sometimes we had that natural response and we say, hey, don't be too loud. Hey, don't be this way. Hey, don't be that way. And that would shut the true response. Yeah. Now we become serious in explaining what we think is going on. And that's the ego mind describing your genuine experience. So now it's secondary. Rather than primary or true response. Amazing, hey?
Thank you, Cole. I must say, while I was reading without thinking, and I was feeling it.
Yeah.
Every word was showing me, and I enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you.
That's it. It really is as simple as connecting to the real feelings in us. Yeah. Sometimes we connect it to another thought and then we think it rather than go like, how did that sentence make you feel? Why do you think when we do the morning lessons, why do we slow it down so much? Because when we slow down, the feelings have more chance to respond to what we're doing. That's all. Feelings are very slow. They slow. Yeah, so when you say one word and you wait until the feeling begins to turn into flesh, you know, the thought, the word becomes flesh. You become a living example of that word. And the more you feel it, more you give it. And more you give it, more it ignites in you that part of you that's creating the brand new moment right now. So lush. Chantal, you want to read the next bit?
Where were we?
21.
Sorry?
21.
21. As was already stated, the first opportunities for you to learn the art of thought will be provided through what we have called the re-experiencing of memory.
Chantal, could you face your phone a little bit? Because when you speak to the side, it kind of loses the quality.
Sure.
Yes, thank you.
It is again.
Thanks, darling.
What was it again? 20 or 21?
21.
21.
As was already stated,
Beautiful.
the first opportunities for you to learn the art of thought will be provided through what we have called the re-experiencing of memory. These are opportunities to re-experience the lessons your life has brought you. You will experience the same lessons in the same way, rather than in a new way. If you meet this experience again with the attitude of interpreting them rather than responding to them, they do not require interpretation, but response.
Yes. I got to interfere in here. Guy, this is the whole thing where Course in Miracles went down the hill. The lessons, all the statements in the Course in Miracles do not require interpretation, period. Interpretation is what kills it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? You read it, what did it do to you? You know, even if it says like you are light and love and joy, and you're sitting there pissed off because you had a bad day, what's your true response to that statement? You are light, and yeah, what's your response? My response, like, spare me the fucking misery, right? Whatever is it, yeah, that's the response that's required. Depends on
Yeah.
you. You might say like, oh no, I don't feel that way, thank you very much. But now you're responding to these lessons rather than interpreting them. So Jesus constantly goes like, hey, hear this, what's your response? What's your response? Instead we go like, let me interpret this, right? And we take it
Cole,
somewhere.
that brings up a memory for me, and it was just so lovely. I just felt like a little angry ball of black twine, just like going everywhere, and I just felt so angry. And I get this message from Jesus: "Oh, you are adorable." It was like it just opened my heart because I'd always felt so ashamed of that anger and that, hell thing. And he just turned it into something beautiful.
Bingo, bingo, exactly. It's like, what's my true response, huh?
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Is it all right to ask a little question?
How big is your little question?
Not very big at all. Why why do you think that people all over the world interpret A Course in Miracles?
I think we had a few
Well, let's
example
see.
lives who, huh? Say it again. Say, Chantal.
Yeah, I thought, like, let's interpret that one.
Very
I
good.
can say I can say that that's just an ego. It's just what do we call it? A default setting of the ego mind is to interpret. That's the default
Yes.
setting. So if you're not really listening to what he says at the beginning of the book, where he says you don't need to understand it, you don't need to work it out, you just need to do it.
Apply.
If people don't listen to that and follow the instructions, they're going to go back to the default setting, which is ego mind, which is trying to explain everything and work it all out and have an opinion about it.
Thank you.
And then think they're understanding it, but there's actually nothing to be understood. It says from the beginning, like none of this means anything. Hello. Well, let me give you the
First
meaning.
lesson, nothing I see means anything.
Yeah. So we had few example lives at the beginning that didn't really do the workbook yet, didn't really learn the course and begin to teach it because that's what it says, teach only love, but that is what you are. It was translated, teach a course in miracles. And that's where the schism happened. Like, oh, I've got to teach it. Then people saw that and saw, oh, I've got to learn all this to teach this. And now we have all these
But
teachers
can I say
around.
something?
Hang on.
The course is not in the world. It's not because of the teachers. It's because our belief in separation is what we're seeing.
Sure. Sure, but that was the examples. We had so many examples of interpretation. Yes. Of course it is.
Thank
Of
you.
course it's fully individual. It is, absolutely. Yeah.
Tawny, are you confused?
Oh, no, I think I do a confused expression a lot. I've done it since I was little.
Oh, okay.
Got a line there, but from that expression, but I'm good, thank you.
Oh, I've got.
So let's just come back to that. They do not require interpretation, but response. Go, Chantal.
Response was what was required in the first place. And your inability to respond need not be repeated. You are being revisited with these lessons expressly for the purpose of not repeating your former reaction or interpretation of them. You are being revisited with these lessons so that you may apply to them the art of thought rather than the thinking of the ego mind. The art of thought will reveal the truth to you. The thinking of the ego mind would simply reinterpret the meaning you previously gave to these lessons. This is a sticky distinction, for you are used to congratulating yourself on the maturity required to reinterpret previous lessons. To form a new opinion about something gives you a feeling of open-mindedness and growth. Lay aside your desire for reasons for self-congratulation in favor of self-revelation. The saying, the truth shall be revealed to you, is the same as saying, yourself shall be revealed to you.
Wow.
Yeah. Revelation is a proper description of the mode by which the art of thought teaches and helps you learn. It is not through study, effort, or reinterpretation, but through revelation.
Amen.
Revelation is direct communication with God in the sense that it is direct communication from a self you have known not, the self that is one with the Creator.
Mm.
Mm. Anyone else?
Yeah.
We must backtrack a little here to do the same exposition that we did in regard to miracles, in regard to revelation. By asking you to choose a miracle, you were provided a means through which your fears became clear to you. There are a few of you who would deny these fears. Fewer still are unafraid of miracles and eager to embrace them. As you may have surmised, we are getting at your final fears here, those most deeply buried and kept in secret from you. Some of you who would count yourselves least fearful are those of you whose fears are most deeply buried. So whether you count yourself among the fearful or not, please continue to give me your attention just a little while longer as we uncover all that would still hold you back. As was said within A Course of Love, all fear is doubt about yourself. Now we must expand upon this thought, for doubt about yourself is doubt about God. While God is nothing but the source of love, you have, in your doubt, made of God the source of fear. Pause a moment here and let the enormity of this confusion sink in. For this is the reversal in thinking that will pave the way for all the rest. Because of this confusion, you have responded to creation with fear. Is it no wonder a new response is asked of you? In the translations of the Bible and many other religious texts, the word or idea of awe has been confused with the word or idea of fear. A Course in Miracles told you that awe is the providence of God and not due miracles or any other thing or being. I bring up this point to assure you that this confusion is nothing new, but a confusion so deeply ingrained in you that it has become an aspect of yourself as human being. Ooh. From time immemorial, fear has been associated with God.
Mhm.
This was the thinking I came to reverse. While I succeeded in revealing a God of love, this revelation has not been reconciled with your experience here.
Mhm.
Mm. This is what we will now seek to do by putting an end to fear and ushering in, with this ending, the beginning of a time of miracles. Mm.
Mm. Beautiful. Mm. What are we up to, guys? Shall we do one more chapter? This one is only 2 pages.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You still in?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Anthony,
That's
want to read?
I shall read. Yeah. Thank you. The choice for love. Why, when a God of love has revealed for so long, revealed so long ago, and so many times, and in so many forms, since then, that they remain forever countless, has fear of God remained? Yeah, why? The only answer possible is because fear of the self has remained. This is a twofold fear that must be looked at carefully now, and with all the power of the art of thought. One aspect of this fear has to do with the human experience. The other aspect with the divine experience. When it is said within A Course of Love that the great paradox of creation is that while creation is perfect, something has gone wrong within it. This fear in relation to the human experience is of what it was I spoke. The choice for suffering that has been made within the human condition is what I speak of specifically here. While I can tell you suffering is illusion, you cannot still your fear of it, nor tear your eyes away from it, or remove from it the feelings of your heart. Excuse me. While I came to reveal the choice of love to you, the choice that you each must make to end such suffering, the illusion of suffering has continued, and in its continuation made the choice of love seem all but impossible. If not for the suffering that you see all around you, the choice for love would have been made. If the choice for love had been made, the suffering you see around you would be no more. This is the paradox. I'll just read that last sentence. If the choice for love had been made, the suffering you see around you would be no more. This is the paradox. Someone else like to read?
You do one more.
Okay. The second aspect of this fear is fear of the divine. A part of this fear of the divine is related to the fear of the human condition. How can you not be fearful of creation when such suffering occurs within it? But there is another aspect that relates to the fear of union we spent much time discussing within A Course of Love. It is a fear of the human mind that cannot comprehend the all or the nothingness, the eternal or the void. While your thought system here has been described often as insanity, this is the insanity you would fear that may actually grow stronger as you get closer to the truth. Wow. This is the part of you that believes this communication itself is insane, that believes that to contemplate miracles is insane, that both welcomes and fears visions and abilities you see as being currently beyond your capabilities. This fear of all and nothingness is the fear of God, fear of life, fear of creation, fear of self. For there is only all or nothing, all and nothing.
Hmm.
um,
Yes. Now there's a paradox.
yeah.
I've been coming from all or nothing. Oh dear.
Me too.
Hmm. Oh,
Mm.
Annie, you reading today, Annie?
Yeah, should I go on?
Yes.
5-6. A part of you is aware of this and is fearful of the all of everything as of the void of nothing. You feel as if you have headed toward something from somewhere, but neither here nor there feel completely real to you. The lucky among you have made of this in between place an adventure and are happy in your seeking. You do not care to end this happy state, and there is indeed much to be learned from the in between. It is, however, a starting point only. The whole of life could, in fact, be seen as the illusion of an in between you have created between all and nothing. I'm going to read that one again. The whole of life could be, in fact, be seen as the illusion of an in between you have created between all and nothing. This in between place is your comfort zone. And although you feel compelled to push at its edges, this pushing simply leaves the edges quite intact and causes them to be capable of offering resistance. Your search for something within the in-between, if it leads not beyond the in-between, but shields you from the recognition of the all you are capable of finding and the nothing in which you reside. Ooh. In order to experience the truth, you must move into a state that is real. Nothing is as real as everything, and is what some of you will or have experienced as a dark night of the soul. To realize that you reside in nothingness is but the counterpart of realizing that there is an all to which you belong. Again, I tell you that this is only that, again, I tell you that it is only your body and the thinking of your ego mind that make the in-between state of the illusion in which you now exist seem real. I must make a distinction here between the seemingly real and the aspect of your existence that is real. Your heart, as we have defined it many times within the Course, must exist in the thought system that is real to you. The thought system of the ego mind is what has been real to you, and thus where your heart has been held captive. Thus, your real self is not present in the realm of the truly real, but is actually present within the illusion. This is why all seeking must turn within, toward the heart, where the real self abides. There is nothing else that will free who you are, but freedom from the ego's thought system. That's the ego's thought system, that the ego's thought system has kept you from this freedom is the seeming difficulty you experience in learning this course of study, and the reason when you have freed yourself that you will look back and see how easy this one choice really is. I'll stop there. Wow. Just one choice. That's all it takes, huh? Who's next?
The body, and thus the you whom you think you are, would not experience anything without the presence of the heart. The heart is the only cause of your experience here. Dun, dun, dun. When released from the ego thought system, the heart becomes the determiner of what your experience, since you know this as the cause. This is what is meant by mind and heart being joined in union and being wholehearted. It is the real you, or the center of your self, being joined with the only thought system that is real, the thought system of the truth. How could a thought system based on anything but the truth lead to anything but illusions? And here, that you experience is the experience dictated by the ego mind, and this experience is all that makes you believe you're other than who you are. Thus, the abolishing of the ego mind, as stated many times and in many ways, must now be brought to completion. This is why I have asked you to choose the manner in which you would be once and finally convinced. You must experience the reality of the new thought system, or it will remain forever theoretical. You must let go of the foundation of fear on which the old thought system was built in order to experience the new. Whoa. The art of thought invites the experience of the new thought system by being willing to replace the old with the new. While this will at first be a learned activity and as such have its moments of seeming difficulty, it is learned only in the sense of practicing the mindfulness that will allow the memory of it to return to you. Mindfulness and wholeheartedness are but different expression of the union of mind and heart. Mindfulness will aid you in remembering. Wholeheartedness will aid you in reconciling the laws of God with the laws of man. Through mindfulness, you will remember who you are. Through wholeheartedness, you will be who you are. What? Through wholeheartedness, you will be who are. Is that correct?
Through wholeheartedness, you will be who are.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah?
Totally.
It is in this way that you will enter a time of miracles and put an end to suffering and thus begin the return to love. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that sentence makes more sense, Cole, if you read the one before.
Say it again.
Through the sentence you were questioning. If you read the one before, through mindfulness, you will remember who you are. Through wholeheartedness, you will be who you are.
You will be
Who are,
Who
sorry.
are.
Who are, it says, yeah. It's just grammar.
right. Beautiful, darlings. We made it.
Oh. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. It's dinner time here in Indiana.
Bon appetit.
Joy.
See you
Enjoy, have
tomorrow.
fun. Ciao.
Bye, everyone. It's lovely to
Bye.
see you all.
Good to see you guys. Thank you. Ciao. See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.